Hey guys, it's your girl Tamika, back again with yet another hair video, and today I'm going to be doing an update on Tiara's hair. For all the new people who are watching, I want to say welcome, and for all the people who have been following me all along, I want to say thank you for your support. If you are interested in learning to care for and grow your own hair, please don't forget to check the description box below. The 14-day hair growth bootcamp is great for helping you get started on your healthy hair growing journey, and also check out the links to other classes and ebooks related to healthy hair care. And yes, that is Black Jesus and Peter on my shirt. Find out where to purchase it below. So of course, I have started off with freshly shampooed and deep conditioned hair, and I will link all of the products below so you guys can go check those out. And I'm starting off with Paul Mitchell Super Skinny as a heat protectant for her hair, and I parted her hair into 4 sections, and I'm just going to take the Super Skinny and emulsify it in my hands and apply it to her hair and distribute it evenly throughout. So I'm going to be using my detangling brush to further detangle her hair and distribute the Paul Mitchell Super Skinny evenly throughout her hair and to prepare her hair for using the RevAir on it. So let me give you guys a little bit of history about Tiara's hair. And if you want to see the previous video I did about when I did the A, B, and C cut on her hair, I'll go ahead and link that below. But Tiara, she has been struggling with the overall health of her hair because of mental issues and uncertainty and things like that. She just really would pull her hair and just not do right by her hair, and so it just definitely took its toll on her hair overall. Now she does have a lot of length, but she still has her struggles, and no, she was not born with super long hair, and no, she has not had super long hair of her life. She has had super long hair for most of her life because I've been just trying to stay on top of her hair care. But now she's an adult, and even though she relies on mom to do her hair, I rely on her to do a lot of things to her hair, and I can't always be there, so things happen. But yes, I just want to give you guys an update on the health and length of her hair, and that's what I created this video for. Okay, so now back to hair. So I am doing the same thing I did on the previous section. I'm going to do that to all 4 sections, just putting a pump of the Paul Mitchell Super Skinny on each section. I'm going to distribute it with my hands and then distribute it further and detangle with the detangling brush. And then after I do all this, I'm going to go on ahead and clip up the sections to get them out of the way and prepare for RevAiring her hair. So now I'm going to show you how I RevAir her hair. I'm going to be using the RevAir on the high setting on speed 5. I have lowered the speed because it just works out better for her hair. And even though I have her hair parted into 4 sections, I'm going to split those sections in half. And I think once I get to the top, I split those into 3s, just to be sure I don't put too much hair into the RevAir. And this is how you get the hair straighter, by using smaller sections. So the thicker the hair, the smaller the section should be. This is not a RevAir tutorial, but I'm showing you how I RevAir on her hair. If you want to see a RevAir tutorial, I do have one, and I'll link it below. So I'm taking the spray mist bottle, and it has water in it, and I'm just lightly misting her hair, so her hair will be slightly damp because it's dried out a little bit. So it'll be slightly damp whenever I, start to RevAir her hair. So just putting it on there, and it usually takes me about 90 seconds to get her hair completely dry, and I'm just rubbing it across her scalp to make sure I get the roots straight, and not keeping the RevAir in one spot too long because it can singe your scalp if you keep it on one spot too long. And so no pumping there. You don't pump with the RevAir. Just want to make mention of that. So this is in real time. I say 90 seconds, but it could be less, it could be more. It just really depends. Okay, so it looks like I'm getting ready to go on ahead and take the RevAir off, but I am going around just to make sure that the roots are dry. One more time, because I've heard people say that the roots don't get dry with the RevAir, but if you're careful and if you move it side to side, up and down, you can get the roots dry and get the roots just as straight that way. Okay, so now I think it's dry, and I am detangling as I release the RevAir, and wow, it is finished. Look how straight that is. RevAir is so amazing. I love it. Makes blow drying so easy. I love the RevAir, and there's a link below so you can go check that out too. So I just want to talk about a few things that were very important in helping Tiara get to this length of hair. She doesn't put a lot of heat on her hair. The only time she puts heat on her hair is during these times when I've shampooed and deep conditioned and, you know, pretty much shampoo day. So that helps out a lot, because when you put too much heat on your hair, then it causes your hair to dry out, which it causes more damage and breakage. So keeping the heat off her hair has been like awesome in helping her hair retain as much length as it has. Also, she keeps her hair tied up like almost all the time. So if she's not out and about, then her hair is usually in a bonnet, and that's been the secret for the past couple of months in keeping her from pulling on her hair, because she definitely is a hair puller. So that makes it a little bit harder for her to have like the luscious ends that you see on everybody else. But plus, her hair is more fine. Even though it seems like she has a lot of hair, she does have a good amount of density, but her hair is very fine. And so generally people with fine hair, it's harder to get those ends to be like full and thick like you see when people have thicker hair. Another thing that she does too on a regular basis is that she uses oils to help moisturize her hair. I know people say that oils aren't moisturizing, but if you use the correct ones, then oils to moisturize her hair in between shampoos. And she tries her best to not touch her hair, but of course you can see she's not very successful at that, because if she was, then she wouldn't have like so much damage on her ends. But overall, I'm very pleased with her hair and the progress that she's made. It's grown a lot since the last video that I've done, and I have done a few trims since then. But right now we have truly right now we are going into I would say maintenance mode. She has about another inch before her hair reaches waist length, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start trimming more often, and I'm going to be trimming until the levels of the damaged hair reach the levels of the healthy hair. So I guess you could call it goal point trimming. And so eventually, like, all the hair catch up, and then all of the hair will be at that even point where she'll be able to have more of a blunt cut and thicker ends. And by doing the trims like that, the more often trims, I guess about every 8 weeks, I'll be cutting probably about a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch. By the time all of her hair gets to waist length, it'll be like a more even, thicker weight line there. And she's gonna love it. Okay, so now it's time to do the silk press, and you guys have seen my other silk press videos, and I will also link those below. I always start in the back of the head, and I go at diagonal. I know some people probably think that's weird, but it just makes it easier for me to silk press around the curve of the head and to get the roots like really super straight. And I'm going to be using my FHI flat iron. That's one of my favorites, but I also have my Fabulous Pro, which you see me use in a lot of videos. Those are my two favorites. Those are the ones I use on a more regular basis. And generally, between 375 to 410 degrees is what I use. And today I'm going to be using between the 400 and 410 to get her hair silky straight. And if you guys have seen my other videos as well, you guys know that I'm a one pass girl. So I do that one pass, slow and steady, and keep it moving. No sense in me going over the strands 1,000 times, because that creates like serious heat damage. And heat already, you know, if you do it on a regular basis, it already, you know, kind of like softens up and loosens the curls anyway. So you got to be really careful, because you don't want to take all of the texture and integrity out of the hair. Look at that, slow and steady. First pass. And her hair was already pretty straight from the RevAir anyway, so the flat iron just kind of like sealed the deal on that. So I'm not going to go into details about what I do, but pretty much just the diagonal sections. I do a little tug at the roots with my fingers, and then I use a flat iron, slow and steady, comb chase method. And as I said before, I'll link the video where I show more details about how I flat iron Tiara's hair in the description box below, and all the other things in the description box below, like the classes and courses and the ebooks, and a link to the RevAir, and a link to the products, and a link to the t-shirt. The t-shirt My son had a graphic designer do that. That is his original idea, and he has that t-shirt for sale if you guys are interested. It says, I believe, "Oh, ye of little faith, why did you doubt?" And we really need to like really think about that scripture because it is so true. We doubt God so much. We put him in a box when he definitely has more in store for us than, you know, we think he does. So yeah, that shirt, it just reminds me about, you know, having faith in God and his faithfulness and goodness towards us. Yeah, he's definitely been like a tremendous blessing in my life, and he will continue to be, and I'll continue to develop and strengthen my relationship with him because I think that is very important for life. Your hair's turned out really, really good. So one pass, and I'm actually using 400 with the FHI because it goes like 400 to 450. There's kind of like no in between dial. But yeah, 400 on here, and it's still coming out really nicely. It would have came out really nicely had I done 375, to tell you the truth. 375 is like my favorite temperature to use on people. It's a very safe temperature, and it still gets the hair really silky straight. So even though this is not a tutorial video, I'm pretty sure that there are some people who can still learn from the things you see in the video. So I'm gonna leave this part here, and I'm gonna speed it up just a little bit, but you can still, like, through YouTube, turn down the speed so you can see exactly what I'm doing. But speeding it up a couple of times, and whoever wants to continue watching it, that's all good. And whoever doesn't want to watch it, you can go ahead and skip ahead to like the next part. But don't forget to stay to the end of the video, or watch the end of the video, so you can see like the surprise comparison shot I had between last year and this year. I was surprised when I saw it. I didn't realize how much her hair has grown. So now I'm just putting the finishing touches on. I'm using the smaller flat iron to go ahead and get her edges straight. Now, one of the points on Tiara's hair that she pulls the most is her edges, and so they have really super suffered. Wow. But she's doing things to combat that now. She's massaging her edges and putting, you know, the temple fertilizer on there and her castor oil and all that stuff, and so they're starting to like thicken up a little bit, or filling a little bit, as you would say. But yeah, it's time for the trim. I know everybody loves the trim part. So you see me combing through a lot, and I'm really just inspecting her ends just to see, you know, where the weaknesses are, and just to see where I need to trim. I'm going to do an interior trim. I'm also going to do a perimeter trim. I'm not going to overcut the hair. Of course, I'm going to leave some hair on there because you guys know that I'm one of those type of hairstylists that don't like to do like super heavy trims on people's hair, because I'm not trying to cause any trauma, you know, and her hair is important to her, and she's emotionally tied to her hair, so I'm not trying to cut off like 6 inches all at once, even though in my opinion she doesn't need 6 inches cut off. Maybe a little bit more than what you see me trim, but we got to start somewhere. And as I said before, we're getting ready to go into maintenance mode, so I'm going to be cutting her hair more often. We're trimming her hair more often, so the damaged parts will catch up to the healthier parts. So we'll keep the healthier parts, you know, the same length as the damaged parts grow in a sense. So this is me doing the interior trim, and just getting off some of the damage and saving as much hair as possible. I'm sorry that it's not in the frame, but her hair is so long that it was just hard for me to like keep her hair in frame, and I didn't realize it until later on. that is not in frame, but you get the gist of it. And plus, you'll see some of the trimming when I like do the perimeter trim. So on the interior trim, I'm actually cutting about 1.5 to 2 inches off of the hair because those ends were like really wispy, and a lot of that just need to come off. But still trying not to overdo it. And I'm just dusting that right there. So I'm pretty much just cutting what I see needs to be cutting, not just cutting just to cut, because some people, they just go ahead and just find like the weakest spot and just chop everything off, and sometimes that's a lot more. But just trying to save the hair and just cutting what needs to be cut, because you know it's not all split up and damaged. Some of it is, some of it isn't. People, they're gonna always have their opinions about how things are done, but I do things my way, they do things their way, and my methods do prove to work, because I have helped so many women, you know, grow their hair to longer lengths, and I did it exactly how I'm doing her hair. I'm a gentle hairstylist. Well, I'm not a hairstylist anymore, but a former hairstylist, but I still do love like the healthy hair makeover and transformation aspect of what I do. And that's why I have the ebooks and classes, so I can help you guys, you know, reach your goal lengths without having to chop your hair off too. So the edges are like a really tough area, because they need to be trimmed, but ever since Tiara was a baby, she's never had like a lot of thick edges. And as a matter of fact, then edges run in her family on her dad's side, and so keeping her edges intact has been like a super chore throughout her entire life. You know, I had to go about things a little bit differently, and the fact that she pulls them does not help the situation at all, but we're working on it. We're working on it. So her keeping her hair tied up, and then her using the castor oil and the what is it called? The ORS temple fertilizer, I believe it's called. Yeah, all those things in combination with just shampooing and deep conditioning and trying to keep her hair inside her hair and all that stuff is going to help get her ends back to what they were formerly. But they'll never be as thick as somebody else. I've never seen anybody with like super thick edges anyway. I had one customer in my lifetime who had super thick edges, and I was like, what are you eating? And what is going on? Because this just not happen. Most people have thin, wispy edges. As a matter of fact, people that wear laces, they like that thin edge look, and so they pluck the lace to, you know, have it mimic like the sparse, you know, look. Okay, so I'm getting ready to do the perimeter trim, and I guess I'm gonna cut off maybe about a ½ inch on the perimeter, but not cutting all the way up to the damage. It's gonna fill in. And her hair previously, well, I'll show you at the end of the video. Just like I said, it'll be a surprise. But yeah, it's looking pretty good to me, you know. Okay, so now her trim is done, her perimeter trim is done, her interior trim is done, and I've gotten the ends to a satisfiable state. I hope that's a word. And I'm just inspecting to see how they feel, and I ponytailed her hair to see how it feels. Her ponytail looks good, and that is everything. I'm so excited because she's one step closer to where we want her to be. So now for that surprise comparison. This is her hair when we cut it previously, I guess maybe about 18 months ago. And now you see me cutting her hair now. And it seems to me as if she's probably gained, because if you look, I've cut her hair to like the top of the chair. This is the same chair. I cut her hair to the top of the chair. And if you look on the other side, her hair is overflowing past the top of the chair. So she's gained a lot of hair since then. But that's all I have for you guys. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and watch out for my other videos. Don't forget to also check the description box below. I love you guys so much. God bless you, and take care.